Hey everyone, Hammeh here. Some news for you today, a quick Overwatch news update. 3 new maps, yes, that's a whole 3, look as though that if things go according to plan, they'll be with us by the end of this year. On the official boards today, Jeff Kaplan posted a little bit about the development plans for maps. So I'm quickly going to go over the news and have a little bit of a speculate as to what the 3 maps in development could be, the 3 additional non-standard maps could be, and also what the experiments being mentioned could be as well. First things first, the forum post. So it's linked in the description below. On the forums, Jeff said we have 3 maps in development, all past the initial playtesting phase that are standard maps, quick play and comp. While something can always change, 3 of those are looking likely for a release this year. There's the good news. We also have 3 non-standard maps in development. These won't go in quick play or competitive, and we also have a few other experiments going on. So what could this all mean outside of the obvious? Well, first things first, if 3 maps have passed the initial playtesting phase, it means they're being worked on in terms of art, polish and similar things. So they're reasonably far along what we know is the Overwatch map development chain. This has been mentioned in the past with Eichenwalde and similar as well. So what could these new maps be? Well, there have been several that have been mentioned by the community a whole bunch, and in terms of the story that could fit really well. In my top 5 potential future maps video that I released way back in June of last year, and I speculated some of these in April 2016, I mentioned that maybe Junkertown, the Australian Omnium, something set around the adventures and past of Junkrat and Roadhog could be a pretty cool level to have. One that has also been mentioned by the community a bunch is Horizon, the lunar colony where Winston spent his formative years before escaping to Earth in a self-made rocket when his other guerrilla comrades decided to overthrow their experimental status and sadly kill the scientists on the moon. So a little bit dark there, but the moon is a very prominent feature in a lot of Overwatch animated shorts as a feature in the skyline and in a lot of shots. So Junkertown, the Australian Omnium, Horizon, these would be awesome things. I'd love to see them. Oasis, however, our last new map, was a little bit of a curveball. So who knows what could turn up? I'm really looking forward to seeing what these 3 maps would be. What would you like to see for standard maps, as it were? Ones that we'd seen quick play and competitive. Any particular scenes or stories from the story? Or perhaps different gameplay concepts, things like the low gravity that people thought that Horizon on the Moon could have, for example. Do let me know your thoughts for new maps in the comments. As for when we could see these, well, the first might not actually be that far away. Let's not forget that we had Eichenwalde in August, so at Gamescom we could receive one during summer. Oasis was being worked on after BlizzCon late last year and then dropped earlier this year, so who knows, we could actually be seeing something pretty soon in the next few months, maybe then something in August, and then maybe something around BlizzCon for these standard maps. With Overwatch's first birthday coming up in May, wouldn't it be cool if we got our first new map then or around then? Who knows? Blizzard must do something for Overwatch's first birthday. Maybe it's not going to be a seasonal event like Uprising, like Halloween and things like that, given that we've had this one so soon, but who knows? Okay, so onto the part of Jeff's statement that says non-standard maps. Well, what could this mean and what could we perhaps get? Well, think about the new PvE event Uprising. That's kind of a tweak to an existing map. So that's a non-standard map. Jeff said these ones would not go into quick play or competitive. Also think of things like Eco Point Antarctica that we saw for the Christmas event. A new 3v3 arena, a new 1v1 arena perhaps, things like this. So there are levels that get little tweaks like King's Row and Uprising, and then also new levels that aren't standard competitive maps. For example, Eco Point Antarctica. So what could we see for those? Well, who knows, maybe there's going to be a new, I'd say 3v3 or 1v1 arena, something for those duels and things like that. Alternatively, these could be things for events, example, so new PvE modes, things like Junkenstein's Revenge. Either way, the fact that we are getting new things on top is really, really interesting, and that leads us to the experiments. Now, what could experiments be? Well, new game modes, they could be things like Capture the Flag, tweaks to other levels, and just all over new ways of playing Overwatch. Who knows, maybe we could get a new Lucioball arena or something like that, maybe a different way of playing Lucioball beyond the standard pitch that we have from last year's event. So the fact that we've got 3 new maps, hopefully, if everything goes to plan coming this year, that are standard, 3 non-standard on top of that, and then a few little experiments, that's a lot of content outside of heroes, outside of these seasonal events, and all that kind of stuff. So quite an exciting post from Jeff there. I would love to know what you'd like to see for new maps, what you'd like to see for new PvE modes, what you'd maybe like to see for non-standard maps, things like Eco Point Antarctica, any tweaks to existing maps you'd like to see, and then experiments. What other crazy things would you like to do in terms of playing Overwatch? Lucioball was a new one, for example. So do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers for tuning into this little bit of news. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you like this video, do throw a like, sub, maybe share it. It really, really helps me out. Lore videos, what my channel is all about, are back later this week. I was working on one just now until this news drop, so keep an eye out over the next few days as always. If you want to catch up on hero lore, comic, animated short analysis, interactions, voice lines, and so much more, have a look at the playlist below. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. take it easy.